the Whole Life Expo in Seattle, and with us is the Chief Investigator for the Houston UFO Network, Derrel Sims, who has remarkably been able to work with some abductees, and actually through some of the surgical processes and with some doctors working hand in hand with him, work with these people that have been abducted and remove implants. And we're going to talk about these implants, possibilities of where they're coming from and why, and who's doing it, and explore this subject of abductions. Derrel, it's a delight to have a chance to chat with you briefly. I appreciate, the fact that you're willing to come and sit out. You are lucky. We've got sunshine in Seattle instead of rain.
I wonder if they made sunshine here.
Oh, well, we asked for it.
Great, you got it.
Okay, I wanted to just kind of explore quickly why this whole subject interests you so much.
Well, I can scarcely, it would be difficult for me to imagine anyone that would not be interested in something that was occurring around the world, all over the planet, that has split the scientific community and medical community, and people are having so much controversy about. I mean, if there's something here from another dimension, another planet, or wherever they're from, we should know what's going on.
Do you think there's an agenda involved here? A lot of people are talking about a hybrid program, implants for tracking purposes, to get control over people. In your investigation and talking with people, still, are we out on the decision as to why? But we can speculate.
At least we're not out to lunch. We do know something about the phenomena, and we're learning things all the time. There are 16 different scientists who have contacted us in reference to, and in fact several scientific groups and medical groups in regards to some of our findings. And we're delighted that the scientific community would be interested in that.
You've got the credible people working on this whole subject, which is going to help mainstream understand the phenomena that's going on.
That is correct. I think our whole purpose is in not validating a person's experiences or anything, simply that if in fact abductions are occurring, there should be evidence of that. If implantation is occurring, there must be physical evidence of that somewhere, somehow. We feel like we may have a handle on that, and we've just performed 2 surgeries on 2 alleged abductees with no previous history of surgeries. And the objects were found. The biology surrounding them is just remarkable. We have another 3 people lined up for surgeries as we speak.
It's pretty remarkable these people are willing to undergo this. I mean, if they've had an abduction experience, that's a trauma enough. But I appreciate their willingness to cooperate and to help in this matter.
I agree. I'm very, very proud that these people will come forward and submit to these tight procedures. Of course, many of them want whatever it is out of them. They don't want it in there.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that they for tracking devices and so on. Well, first of all, we haven't proven that they are quote unquote alien implants. We don't know that yet. And when we do, of course, we'll certainly publish everything and make sure everyone knows. We share all our information, and don't charge abductees a thing for any of the surgeries, for any of the hypnotic work, or any of the other procedures, testings, or anything. This is all done free. We do not charge them anything for this. But as to what the implants do, if in fact they exist, I would suspect that one of the things they do is to moderate the behavior of the experiencer, as some people refer to them as, in order to control the individual. By that I mean, if you control serotonin and dopamine, neurotransmitters like that, you literally control the life of that individual.
Right.
So maybe that's what these things do. We're not sure.
Are they in certain locations in the body that would be sort of tied to glands and hormones, so that it would be easy to, have that emit something that
it's a good question. One of the things we're looking at, and we found in the first surgeries, was that regardless of the fact that I had one of the people under hypnotic anesthesia and 2 local anesthesia as well, injected in these people, as soon as the implants were touched, these people acted as if there was no anesthesia whatsoever. As soon as they were taken out, they really came off the table in both cases. So they were directly apparently attached to nerves. And there again, if you there again can attach the nervous system like that, you could do a lot of things if in fact that's what they do.
Don't you have a background in the military at one time? Or
I was 3 years in the military police, 95 B40 senior military police officer, and I spent a year in Korea. And I was also in the Central Intelligence Agency for 2 years in covert operations.
What is your feeling about the parts of the government that want to reveal everything that they know. Other parts is they're just fighting factions going on, and there are groups that really want to tell the public what they know, as much as they know. Yeah.
Well, my opinion is my knowledge is simply that I do not know all these people in government that want to tell or don't want to tell or whatever. I suspect, as many other researchers do, that there is in fact an element within that's ensconced literally within the government, and apparently has been there for so long that they do have interagency activity, and it's quite secretive, and I suspect that that's going on and has been for some time. I feel like implantation, regardless of who did it. I don't care whether you have a little bald head and black eyes and call yourself from another planet, or whether you have dark sunglasses and work for a government somewhere. In my opinion, it is immoral and against humanity to do that sort of thing to an individual. It is.
If there's a chance that maybe our government may be even working with another race, another civilization, any feel, even sometimes abductees feel that there is an ultimate goal in mind, you know, out of all that's going on. Do you have any feel from working with the people? You know, are they just mostly feeling violated, and that's that? You know,
no,
don't understand
many of the people. One of the things you when you work at this for a long time, and I've done this for 30 years, is that you learn from the alien presence, and I mean I don't know about all kinds of other beings people say they're in contact with. I'm talking about the primary ones that are often described with large black eyes, wraparound eyes, and abduct people at night.
The people you're working with are just
often people are many of our people are involved with that as well. And the thing is that, and I think Bud Hopkins and a number of other people will agree incessantly, is these beings lie, and they lie consistently. And when Newsman asked me, he said, "You mean the government?" And I said, "What's the difference?" I said, "If you're not getting the truth from people, it doesn't make any difference." I said, "But I suspect if the government ever was involved with these beings, and I don't know that they are, if in fact they have and are, then they found out the truth that we know as well. They cannot be trusted, and they will never tell you the truth. They are in fact like an intelligence community," and I was there. There are two reasons we kept secrets in the company. One of the reasons was because we had something to hide, and second was because we were vulnerable because of that. Right. I don't think the alien presence is any difference, and that's the reason they're not going to tell you why they're here, the real reason. Out of thousands of abductees and thousands of contactees, you can't get consistent answers of where these beings are from. They tell you one story, tell the next one another story. So what does that mean? If you don't know the messenger, you don't know the message, and that's my view of it.
Now, there's so many different types, supposedly, that are being described.
Yes.
Could be lots of agendas out there.
That's possible. That's entirely possible. One of the common things I hear quite frequently is that, like, the little grays are evil, and the doctor types are better, and the taller ones that are, it seem to look very similar to them, but just taller, and the Nordic types, the more human-like, are real benevolent, and so on. Well, the only problem I have with that is we have, not just in our cases, but other researchers too, where the same beings all show up on the same craft, doing remarkable things, some of them quite traumatic, and leaving scars and all kinds of terrible things on people. What is that supposed to mean?
Yeah.
How do I reinterpret that? Mm-hmm. So it makes me think that someone's had contact with one, and it left them with a screen memory or a false memory. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean a false memory syndrome. I mean simply a memory that was installed that we are here to help you save your planet, fix your ozone holes, and things like that. When in fact you've been here for at least 6,000 years and you haven't done any of that. Now what's the problem? I mean, all we've got is a bunch of mutilated cattle and some other things laying around the neighborhood, and implants and things in people, and you're still not telling us what's going on. So I'd like to know what's going on. I'd like to know what the agenda is. Why don't they show up and talk to a group of us out in a location? Good night, there are people that will volunteer for this abduction stuff. Volunteer for it.
Oh, absolutely.
So why don't they pick them up and leave the people alone that don't want this sort of thing? They don't. They're not interested.
They're not interested. Random in some cases. In some cases, too, it seems almost to be a response.
It could be. The abductions could be random. Certainly, we don't have all the evidence yet, but our research is indicating that there are 6 reasons that they, in fact, pick people up, or there may be a lot more reasons than that, but they seem to be very specifically interested in just certain people. And in fact, in the genetic lines of these people, I find that rather curious. We're finding some incredible stats out. 31% of the abductees have procaine allergies. This is an extremely rare allergy. Some of the abductees will fluoresce. If you use a black light on them in a particular way, you can actually find, in some rare cases, fluorescence on abductees. This is not something they bumped into or painted on themselves. It's subdermal. We're finding all kinds of incredible things about these people and what's happening.
Do you think it's a result of the abduction, or it is a reason for the abduction? Because they're already like that.
We think that the fluorescence is a result of the abductions themselves because, number one, through some tests and things that we've done, the indications are that these people did not have the fluorescence before the event, and we have some pretty good evidence of that.
Now, as you're working with these people, I understand that you've been approached by some network media. We are going to start hearing what you're doing, your type of investigation more, and the general public. What do you think the reaction is going to be?
I think it's going to be quite positive, and I'll tell you why. One is because we're not out there, and I'm not belittling anyone who does. I'm just saying that if you don't use science in the medical realm as the basis of your understanding, you're going to be out there with voodoo, so to speak, and people just are not buying into that. I mean, you know, that went out a couple of hundred years ago in case people haven't noticed. And if you have a scientific and a medical basis to begin with, what you will have at that point is a baseline to function from. I mean, a lady came to me yesterday and made the statement, she says, well, I think they've done this etherically, and I said, sugar, that's fine, but if you come up with a carcinoma and you got 6 months to live, I actually think you'll probably visit your doctor and not somebody who's going to treat you for etheric implants of some kind. And she said, that's true. I said, that's where I'm coming from. I'm not saying that what you're saying may not have some merit. I don't know. I said, what I'm saying is we have to start from a little better ground than that. I said, then wherever it leads from there, that's fine. But we have to start at a scientific basis, I believe. And there again, that's what we need to be doing.
Well, it will help bring this phenomenon to a more concrete, realistic, truthful situation. We've had so many stories and cover-ups upon cover-ups that your approach is one that will, you know, lend some real credibility finally to it. And I really got to appreciate the work, and you must be stepping out yourself. Now, have you had any kind of problems at all? Have you been followed, intervened?
Anybody with the dark glasses, you mean?
Yeah.
The dark glasses or the wraparound kind?
Exactly.
No, I've not had any interventions by the government. Nobody has secretly approached me or anything. One gentleman said that they're here to save us and we're going to call them down and everything, and he said that everybody that didn't believe that they're here to save us and help us and do all that was a government agent. And I got really upset because I was presenting a scientific paper at that same meeting, and I said, really? I said, where's my check? When am I going to get paid?
Yeah, for all that you're doing, exactly. Yeah.
So if I'm a government agent, where's my check? And I just didn't get paid. I can't figure that out. So my question is not so much whether they're good or evil. My question really is if you don't know the messenger, you don't know the message. And I think that's really where we need to be. And if they're not prepared to tell us, then we need to be questioning everything at this point. I mean, if I have things like that in my body, I would want to know who put them there and why. Exactly. I want to know.
Right. Do you think this might lead to some physical contact and communication?
Well, maybe they want to come back to pick up their stuff. I don't know.
Well, right.
I hope so. I hope they try to come back and get them.
Do you think they're aware? They're aware of these abductees having these taken out of their body?
Yes, they are. I think they are.
Okay. Has there been any further communication or kind of contact or abductions after an abductee has had the surgery?
All the people that are involved in the surgeries remarked that when I announced that these objects were going to be removed, that the objects hurt. And this lady said the first time I noticed where they were in my body, it's because they began to hurt and swelling began to occur after the surgery. She walked out of there after I used hypnotic anesthesia with her, and she never even used the medication. It was provided post-op medication. She didn't need it. She was at work. That was Saturday. She was at work Monday morning. Fine. The other guy took about two weeks to heal up, which would be normal for the kind of surgery they did on him. And we did not use hypnotic anesthesia with him. He just did a normal process. So we're doing some tests there as well. But I suspect that they know that that's all happening, and the people have not reported any further contact by beings or anything like that. Interesting enough, the gentleman did see a UFO and filmed it 3 nights in a row right inside the little community in which he lives and sent me a copy of the film. And it was there for hours. If it's a helicopter, it's a real interesting helicopter.
Is it?
It was there for a long time. And another UFO came down and they were flashing lights at each other and all that sort of thing.
You know, people like myself working in the media and you, investigators all over, I work with the National UFO Reporting Center Hotline, which is based here in Seattle. We are attempting to pull from all these contactees, people that are getting photographs, video footage, the proof. We want to show, you know, to the best of our ability that this photo is real, you know, that this phenomena is occurring. And, you know, as you go out and about, spreading the word, you know, there's some realism in what you're finding, too. You've got something to show. We're going to look at the implants that Derrel Sims has now and his explanations of what they possibly might be and who they came from. So, Derrel, I'd like for you to share your box with us.
Share my implants.
Yes.
We'll do this way. Basically, what these represent are surgeries and also objects that were obtained from other people in under different circumstances. Some of which are quite remarkable, and we're very excited in what we found today. We have some nasal implants that were sent to me by a lady that came out of her little girl's nose. They're 0.21 micrometers in size. The size of a very fine-tipped pin. They're brilliant gold. We thought they might be silver, but they're not. So we're real surprised.
Some of these, do they go beyond technology that we know about as far as...
We don't know at this point, and the reason I inject that so quickly is because I'm quick to say that number one, we don't know what they are, and we don't know how they got where they're at. We know that the biology of some of these are rather remarkable surrounding the objects themselves. Many of them are metallic, and some of them are not. So we have a wide assortment here, and we're very interested to find out what these are, where they came from, and who did that, and what they do.
I appreciate your approach, because you're taking the very hardline scientific approach, physical evidence, and proving it.
Thank you so much.
So, thank you for that.
Thank you.
We're now going to show you actual clips of a video produced by Derrel Sims of the surgical removal of alleged alien implants from two separate individuals. These individuals are volunteers. They are believed to be abductees who came forward, and on a volunteer basis also, the surgeons have freely given their time to assist in removing these implants. This is graphic footage, so I do want to warn you again. And we do want to show you, first of all, the removal of an implant from a woman's toe and then from a forearm of a man. And I want you to note that the very same objects appear to come out from both of these individuals. So pay attention here if you can. Here is the x-ray of the woman's toe where the implant was removed. It's going to end up being a very small triangular shaped metallic object, which will also be taken out of a man's forearm. And here we go. Okay,
the hands were feet too. The feet?
No, what's that? That's it. I got it.
That's it. You got it?
Yeah, bring the fresh sponge over here, Raj. That's it.
Put it up next to the camera here.
And we took tissue around it as well.
Okay. It looks like a triangle thing.
Yeah, it looks like a T-shaped object, and
tilt it this way a little.
reason that it's apparently so difficult to see outside is that a layer of abnormal fibrous tissue has grown
Shark's tooth
all around it.
Right.
And it is a triangular object.
Can you pick it up and, wait till he gets his hand out of there. Yeah. Is it flat on one side? Is it flat on both sides?
It appears to be flat on both sides.
Now let's measure it. We have this is a measuring calibrate on here on the scalpel blade. So we're going to measure it also now.
Okay.
A little bit, so you can get it on film here.
The cross measurement is half a centimeter.
Can you see that measurement?
Yeah, I see it.
This is from the 0 to the half.
And then the other direction, let me do it this way.
I see it, yeah.
Measures also about half a centimeter, so there it is.
Got it, okay. It wasn't underneath the skin, it's next to the bone. Okay, now let's see what it is. Let's see what it looks like.
See it.
Put it down here.
Got it. I can't see it. Put it on something. Yeah. Put it over there so we can see it.
What is it? Let's see what it looks like. Son of a gun, it looks just like...
Very similar to the other one.
The same thing.
Yep.
Same thing. Well, let's
It's single piece, seed-like.
Brand alpha.
It's got a lot of tissue attached to it.
let's see.
Here, let me hold this. And you take it off. We'll send that tissue in.
It's hard metallic.
Where's that other pickup?
Here. There you go. Okay.
You did it, Pat. It's out.
And it wasn't where you were pressing, I'm going to shoot you.
It wasn't?
No, that inch away. That's what threw me off.
It's almost out.
Well, I've been known to make mistakes before.
I remember one in 1968.
Maybe there's some tissue around it.
We'll just want enough to go to another source.
You know, you might be right.
I'll shoot you.
Or was it 65?
No, the physical contact was in 68.
Oh.
That's when we was talking
Boy,
to each other.
imagine.
Hey, leave it, that's good.
Yeah, let's leave it. We'll send this in.
Let's
Well,
All right,
that
Denise?
just popped into my head, you know.
take this.
On your side?
This will be the soft tissue specimen.
Yes.
I know.
No, I'm not psychic. I'm
You just leave it on the
psychic.
tray and I'll do it in the wall.
Okay, now here's the measurements.
Same thing.
It runs,
4 millimeters in length
Good, God.
by...
This cocoon-like material was lodged inside a large body of nerve fiber in the toe itself. This was the first thing we found in the first pathology report. The second pathology report shows this cocoon-like material. I've checked the material for fluorescence and found it fluorescing in 3 locations. What that means at this point is simply that the material was sent back, the second material, this cocoon material, and they found that this material surrounding the implants apparently has a good deal of surface skin. And the question is, how did the surface skin get located inside nerve fiber, inside the toe, wrapped around him?